أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Today we would like to welcome you guys to the Safi Brothers podcast, which is available on all podcast platforms, YouTube, and every Friday at 3 p.m. Today's episode is with an amazing brother of ours. He's quite a distinguished brother within the community with, subhanAllah, a multiple identity, a Aboriginal Muslim. And this brother is Uncle Andrew Hassan Gardiner. I'd like to welcome you to the Safi Brothers podcast. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam. It's a pleasure to be here.
Allah, mashallah, you've shared amazing stories. Jazakallah khair. I just want to, I think, before we finish up, inshallah, but I also want to talk about the I know that we touched base on the the early days that, you were talking about before, how there's only 6 major burial sites for.
One of the frustrations of telling people generally about historical events, and one of those things is about saying that there's only 20 registered massacre sites in Victoria. I say only because there were many others who were not registered. And to say there were 20, but how many people were killed? Who knows? If there was hundreds of others, that's decimated a population, because when Aboriginal people were populated, numbers were taken, once missions were established, there was only less than 20,000 people.
Wow.
When they counted people up. There were other people that hadn't been put onto missions yet, but they were the minority. So there was lots of people that had been killed on sites, lots of women and children in camps. White fellas rode up on their horses and just started shooting. A documentary film in the mid-70s, made by John Pilger. John Pilger was a noted journalist who reported on the Vietnam conflict in the late 60s, early 70s.
I know he is.
So
amazing.
Good man. When he came back, he felt the need to look at the Aboriginal issue. And so he did a lot of research. He did visit a lot of communities. And he produced a little documentary film called The Secret Country. It's made by Ronin Films. And every time I see that, it makes my blood boil. Why? Because it has true history that is confronting. It's confronting because people don't want to hear what those atrocities were. In some cases, you look at it and go, that couldn't have happened, but it did. And when I talk about the 20 massacre sites in Victoria, there were many, many, many hundreds more across Australia where people were just shot on sight. You're not supposed to be on our land. Whose land? It was their land before them. Where's your document that says this is your land anyway? Oh, no, they've just assumed an area. The settler class assumed, squatters assumed land that they said that was theirs. We can just assume this land because it's as far as our eye can see. Hang on, if we can only see 60 nautical miles on sea, you can only see to that hill over there. So therefore, after that, not yours. Oh, no, they'll capture another 100 kilometres past that. So these things were done to break down and disintegrate Aboriginal communities, Aboriginal people, purposefully. What did I say earlier about Moreland? Purposeful dispossession. It's exactly the same attitude.
And that resonates with, subhanAllah, what's happening currently in today's situation.
Same thing that's happening in Palestine, mate. Exactly.
SubhanAllah.
Purposeful dispossession. The purpose behind the Israeli push, or the Zionist push in Israel to get the Palestinians to leave is the oil and gas in the Mediterranean. They want to have direct access to that. What's stopping them is Gaza's in between them and the seaport for them to actually access, right? So if that's the problem, we can go back to 1957. I watched a video not long ago. The head of defence in 1957, I forget his name now, but he was openly saying, Palestinians, take them out to the bloody desert and shoot them. Really? Who are you to say that? Coming from Poland or wherever, that you weren't even from this area here, but you're saying you're Jewish. Let's be real. You were Zionist Jewish and you're using that as a platform to disperse people. That's wrong. It's playing the same game here. How many people have you heard recently saying this wouldn't have happened if they didn't do that on the 7th of October. Well, hang on. What's happened before that? What's happened the 75 years before that? The purposeful dispossession, the purposeful oppression and persecution, pushing people to the limit so they'll press their buttons and retaliate. So that's given us the opportunity to smash them again. Why should we have to, the rest of the world, accept Zionist rule in Israel trying to mow the lawn every second, third year? It's a known adage, just to say that we're going to thin the population of the Palestinians out again. What gives them the right to do that?
It's amazing. I really wanted to sort of touch on that, and
amazing.
Like it's. I think a lot of us fail to see the correlation between that, you know, and I think especially our younger youth, especially our Muslim brothers and sisters out there.
No, I'm not asking Muslim youth to rise up and take arms and get all offended and start having a go at Jewish people in the street. No, but support rallies, support their compassion to be able to continue to occupy their traditional lands, because they're not going to leave. And why should they? If anybody leaves, they're not going to get let back in. So they've already determined they're not going to leave. But the Israelis who've left some time ago, gone overseas, raised their kids, those kids, when you look at most of them, have made good lives for themselves.
You mean Palestinians?
They've become professional people, and they're helping other people with those skills, doctors, lawyers, all sorts of things. Yeah, they can't go back there to provide those services to those people that are there, because they won't get let back in. Now, that just isn't fair. Why is it fair for the rest of the world to say Israel can have the right to defend itself, but a Palestinian person can't get citizenship in any other country? Why is that? It can't be in Allah's biggest plan to make them the persecuted people forever. Because if the Jewish people are saying they're the ones that have been persecuted all this time, why are they doing the same thing that they object to themselves being persecuted? Why?
It's amazing.
Amazing. Jazakallah khair.